if we went way back to the beginning, what would you say that I needed to know at your core kind of made you who you are today?
That's a great question. I think early on I had very hardworking parents, and so that's all we really knew was just to work hard, right? Pretty humble beginnings. I would say we never went without, but certainly, my parents were ranchers, and eventually my mom was a school teacher, and then when I was in my teens, my dad left our family, and so it kind of instilled. I kind of had to step up, if you will, a little bit, and kind of be the father figure, if you will, and provide. And so I wouldn't say I didn't have a choice, because we all have choices.
Sure.
But I love to work. I truly do. And I probably work too much, that balance. But I would just say, the hard work, I don't know if you can teach it. I think it's either you got it or you don't. And so it just come natural for me. And I kind of started with nothing, zero, right? And so I always had this mentality while growing businesses. Well, if it fails, I'll just start again. And so I never had a real fear of failure. And so it was pretty easy for me to take some big risks. It was easy for me to kind of stretch my neck out and kind of lay it all on the line. But it just kind of come natural for me. You don't have to go to a university to be successful. You don't have to go to school to be successful. All you have to do is just work hard. Like, just get after it, and sheer grit and determination. And really, I tell my kids this all the time, Ryan. 99 of the people out there, out of 100, want to see you fail. That's just human nature. Yeah. They want to see you fail.
Especially when you see some success.
Absolutely.
Some success.
Yes. And so, I wanted to prove them all wrong. And what's really cool about it is you look at highly successful people, and I'm not saying I'm highly successful, but you look at highly successful people and they love to see other people succeed. And I'm the same way. I mean, I love to see young people either start a business, get into the trade, and go as far as they possibly can go. And I love to help. That's kind of where, when you get a certain age, the ego leaves. It's not really about you anymore, and your cup gets full by seeing others really succeed. I think that's how you teach everything, is by example. You lead by example, and it's not by words, it's by action. And, I think when they're young, you have to get in the, it's no different than being the COO. You got to get in the trenches. You can sit from the sidelines, and you can sit from the house and tell your kids to go do something, and they're going to do it. But are they doing it because they love it, or are they doing it because dad told them to, or the boss told them to? I think they got to do it for the right reasons. And if you're in the trenches with them, and if you're showing them, and you're, shoulder to shoulder, it's different. They develop a love of work. Yeah. And it's probably a sickness for me a little bit, unfortunately, because it is, you've heard the saying, a workaholic. I think most of your successful leaders in anything, be it professional sports, be it business, I would say we're all probably workaholics, and it's trying to find that balance is what's hard. It's not necessarily going to work and doing the work. It's trying to find that balance between, work and family and other things you enjoy. So, I used to think, man, if I had a boy, would I want him in the line trade? Some of the shit I seen and went through as an apprentice and a lineman. I don't know if I want my boy there. But today, I think it's as safe as it ever has been, honestly, with the technology and the importance of it and people buying in. I think people are, I wouldn't say more coachable now. I just think it's hard to describe, but a lot of that, maybe some of that ego has gone around safety. It's almost like I don't even like to call it safety anymore, because it's just part of what a lineman does, right? It's not. Forever it was just safety was over here, and then it was all about production. And I think today, it's kind of like the three-legged stool. You got productivity, you got safety, and you got quality. And if one of those legs fall off, you're nothing, right? And so I think more people realize that, the sticky model, the capacity model, and we were so. You lived through it, and so did I. Yeah. It was slips, trips, and falls, and cut fingers, and hang nails, and stuff that really, it happened every day. But was it life altering? Was it gonna kill you? Probably not. Yeah. And so we were so focused on that, hyper focused. And I'm not saying we as in Quanta, but the industry. And I think when we started thinking about, okay, what do we really need to focus on? Well, we had a lot of fatalities at Quanta, and I remember on my first one here, and it rocked me to my core. Like,
yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah, and I never want to have to deal with that again, and so when you start thinking about, okay, what can we do as a company to get rid of the deaths and fatalities and life-altering events, that's what we need to focus on.
What does a good leader look like to you?
Man, I think a good leader is somebody that shows up, somebody that obviously works hard. I've obviously, I've kind of been a leader my whole career, I feel, and I think my leadership has changed some, right? And every single person, when you look at a company of the size of Quanta, 57,000 employees, you have to have some emotional intelligence, right? Because you may need to chew somebody's ass and be really hard on them, while the next guy or person, you may just need to pull them aside, put your arm around them, and it's all positive reinforcement, right? And so I think to be a really effective leader, you have to have a pile of emotional intelligence,
Sure.
And be able to read people really well. But I also think leading by example, right? I mean, I would never ask anybody at Quanta Services to do something that I wasn't willing to do myself.
Why is craft labor important?
I think craft labor is, to me, it's near and dear, right? Because it's look where it got me, right? I'm kind of a walking proof that anything is possible. I mean, if you'd have asked me 20 years ago, if you'd asked me 10 years ago, are you in this role? I'd be like, are you crazy? I'm just a freaking ranch kid that was a lineman that started his own company from Utah. But yeah, I think it's important. Not only if you look at what's coming, right? You look at what's coming, not just within the U.S. and North America, but the entire world. I think craft is more important now than ever. I really do. Shoot, I don't care about the COO title. At the end of the day, right? It's what people think about, how I made them feel. And I think that's the way with life, I think it's George Strait's song, he's never seen a hearse with a luggage rack,
Yeah.
I mean, we're not taking any of this stuff with us.
No.
And so what you're leaving behind is a legacy and the memories of how you made people feel and how you helped others and build others up. And I think that's where I find most of my joy is giving back, and I think my grandmother, from a very young age, always told me, the more you give, the more you get. So
What do you, when it's all said and done and it's over and it's just Reggie Probst's legacy, what do you want to be known for?
Well, it sounds corny, but a hard worker, right? I mean, it's what makes it, it's almost what defines me a little bit, right? Is you outwork them, right? And that's what's got me where I'm at today. I mean, I've been blessed, but it's hard work. Honestly, I can't think of any other thing other than just the tenacity to get after it, take a chance, and work hard. Put everything else aside, which again comes with sacrifice of family, friends,
Absolutely.
everything. But it is just hard work. But as you think a little bit deeper than that, it's being charitable, being generous, being kind, being gentle. I think the more you lead, and it's hard. It's hard to find that balance because as the tension and the stress, especially where I'm at today, it's hard not to get into a funk of being an asshole sometimes, right? Because
Sure.
you've got so much. But I think being, if you can be a good leader and be gentle, but also firm and fair at the same time, it's a balancing act that I'm still learning, and I think I'll learn till probably the day I die, is how to balance all that. But I think I just want to be remembered as a good guy, somebody that genuinely cared.